Hello everyone, and welcome to my YNR Daily Spoiler Channel. Victor is kidnapped. Newman panics at the blackmail letter Young and the restless spoilers. Nikki. Victor? Calls. Victor, are you in here? No answer. She walks to the window, peers out. The driveway is empty. The private helipad lights show no sign of activity. A soft knocking at the door. Nick, hair raked back, a coffee cup. He freezes when he sees Nikki's face. Nick. Urgent. Where is he? Nikki. Voice small. He didn't come to bed. They search room by room. The family moves into that animal instinct. Check the places he claims for sanctuary, then check where he keeps his secrets. In the study, a small detail. The family Bible is open and sandwiched between pages. One page torn out. Nikki's hand trembles. Newman's center, morning. Jack and Ashley are at the boardroom table when Dan, the executive, huffs in, breathless. He hands Jack a text printout. Jack's face hardens. Jack. Where is Victor? Did he take a trip without telling anyone? Ashley. Skeptical. When has Victor ever taken a trip without telling anyone? Their phones ping simultaneously. An unattended call from Victor's personal line, now disconnected. Panic, small and then contagious. Nikki's kitchen later. Nick, Nikki, Sharon, and Daniel cluster around the table. Nikki dials, leaving frantic messages. Sharon insists on calling the police. Nick resists. This is Victor, calling the Genoa City. PD feels like calling the cavalry for the family. Nick, through clenched teeth. We handle this. We keep it from a press. Victor wouldn't want. He'd want us to act. Sharon, soft, fierce. Nick, he could be hurt. We call the police, and we call our people. Daniel, quiet. Or the person who took him made sure there's no trail. Maybe they wanted it that way. Nikki's gaze falls on the study again, to the torn page and a single card lying on the floor, a small square of thick paper with no return address. Nikki picks it up. On it, in precise handwriting, we have him. Don't involve the police. A letter and instructions follow. Newman, watch your world burn if you cross us. A collective inhalation. The room is suddenly very small. The blackmail letter. Newman Estate, library later. An envelope arrives, no postmark, only a wax seal press with a simple black symbol. Nick slices it open. Inside, a single sheet letter and a photograph of Victor, hands bound, a bandage at his temple. The paper folds to a list of demands: transfer X amount, sign over control of a particular asset, and deliver a personal item from Victor's safe. The kicker, a deadline of 48 hours and a warning. If you go to the police, he dies. Nick's face goes pale. He throws the letter down like it burned him. Nick whispers, "They have him. They have him." Sharon reaches for the photo. Its realism makes her hand shake. Sharon, tearful, We can't lose him." Daniel, firm, "We're not going to lose him. We find him. We don't pay until we know this is real." Nikki fixes him with a look. She knows the stakes and the manifold of consequences. Victor's life isn't just emotional. It's power, money, secrets. The kidnappers know that. They've weaponized the family. Newman Center, emergency meeting, day. The executive committee gathers. Jack, Ashley, Victoria, the legal counsel. Nick informs them, reading the letter in a voice that manages authority and panic. Victor's counsel. "This is extortion. Legally, we go to the authorities. Practically," he swallows, "the letter's credible. They supplied a recent photograph." Ashley. "If those sons of," she catches herself, "if they hurt him, we do not become victims. We become their nightmare." Jack is calculating. Nick is furious. Shane, a young IT head, notes possible digital forensics. Victoria's hands are fists. Her face is pale. Victor's counsel. "We start every route. Private investigators, law enforcement, federal contacts. But we also prepare for negotiation. The letter might be bait for chaos." Adam appears unexpectedly in the doorway. His face unreadable. Adam. "If these people want to make this about money, they picked the wrong family. But if they want to make it about a secret, well, that's a different play." No one asks what he means. But his look carries implication. Victor never made enemies of the kind who did this without reason. The search and the pressure. Private Investigator Office. Day. A tough PI paces. He's been given a photo and a mandate. Find Victor, quietly. Cutaways. Surveillance footage rerun. License plate searches. A pawnshop inquiry. The PI gets a hit. A satellite image of a storage facility with a black SUV present that night. The coordinates point to a rural warehouse 2 hours out. Nate. You don't panic on instinct. You panic on pattern. The pattern here is careful, professional, and personal. Newman Estate, night. Nick and Adam stand in Victor's study, lit by lamplight and desperation. They're both thinking decades of family history, old betrayals, old grudges, the enemies Victor keeps and the enemies he makes. Nick. Who would do this? Is this someone Victor crossed in business? Or someone he crossed in life? Adam. Victor has secrets that make people dangerous. Maybe someone decided to settle an old score. Nick's jaw tightens. He looks at Adam differently, not as rival, but as man with insight, possibly motive. Adam meets his gaze and simply says, Adam, if they want to play family, they don't know how to play our family. Newman Estate, Victor's safe room. Night. Sharon and Nikki rifle through the safe. They find a small leather folder labeled emergencies. Inside, a list of trusted contacts, locations of safe houses, and a note Victor keeps for himself, his fallback plan. One item stands out, a key to an offshore locker and a cryptic line. If I go, do not follow the trail I left. Nikki's breath catches. Nikki. Why would he tell us not to follow his trail? Sharon. Maybe because the trail is dangerous to the people who follow it. The implication is chilling. The family's efforts to find Victor could lead into traps. Suspects and old enemies. Abandoned warehouse, night PI recon. The PI approaches the warehouse, listening. He spots evidence of recent occupancy, cigarette butts, a crumpled Newman's newspaper, a scrap of a tailored suit, a clue pointing to a professional, perhaps connected to corporate security. Suddenly, headlights. A car moves. The PI ducks, but is spotted. A chase. He's forced to retreat with only one piece of evidence, a small white button with an insignia. Newman Center, War Room, night. Adam lays out the button. It matches a security firm that Victor once hired for a covert project years ago. A name surfaces, a contractor whose loyalty ended in a messy public fight. Jack remembers the spat. Jack. Angry. We chewed them up and spat them out. If they're back, they're not here for money. They're here for justice of their kind. Nate, late arrival. It's never just one group, though. It could be a coalition of people hurt by Victor's choices. Old employees, a scorned lover, business rivals. Or a single hired hand with one brutal plan. Nick absorbs it all. The calculus of enemies expanding like ripples. Nick. Then we close ranks. No leaks. No press. And we move on the lead to the warehouse. The ransom escalates. Newman Estate. Study. Day. The deadline. The kidnappers escalate. A second letter, more explicit. They want a list of assets transferred, signatures on a trust deed, and a video of Victor signing the papers in their presence as proof he's alive. They demand that only a family member deliver. The deadline tightens. Nick volunteers. Nikki refuses. Sharon steps forward, eyes bright with purpose and fear. Sharon. I'll do it. If being the one to hand over what they want will bring him home, then I will. Daniel protests. Phyllis pleads. Victor's counsel advises against it. But the family is fracturing under pressure. Nick sees Sharon's resolve, and the look in his face says what he won't say. Not her. Rural warehouse. Dusk. Sharon, under surveillance from the PI and a team, drives to the coordinates with money staged in the trunk of an unmarked vehicle. Nearby, Nick, Adam, and a tactical team wait in the dark. The plan, Sharon delivers. On a code, the team sweeps. It's surgical, tense, and threaded with fear. Sharon, shaky, into collar mic. I'm here. The warehouse door opens. A single figure emerges, not Victor, but a courier holding the requested ledger. He takes the money from Sharon without looking up, slides into the dark, and disappears. On cue, the team moves. The sweep is met with silence. The interior is empty. The courier is gone. Nick's voice crackles in the headset. Someone has lured them. The kidnappers knew the sweep would come. They anticipated. Adam. Soft. They wanted us to show our hand. The toll. Newman Estate, night. Victor remains missing. The family convenes at midnight, exhausted and frayed. Nikki cries for the first time openly. Nick's anger simmers into something harder, resignation. The press have sniffed a whiff of trouble. A local news van parks across the street. The family flinches at every honk. Adam. We have to ask the hard question. Who benefits if Victor is gone? Jack. Control. The chance to take the company while the family bleeds. There are vultures circling. Nikki. And what about the people he hurt personally? Are they out for vengeance? A beat. No easy answer. Sharon. Voice breaking. Victor has made enemies in our bed and in our boardroom. But he also had people who loved him. We have to balance both. They realize that the situation has exposed not only the family's vulnerability, but the moral architecture of their power. The more they push, the more secrets are at risk of surfacing. The twist. Unknown location, night. A gritty, dim room. Victor sits upright, bandaged, coherent, and furious. He studies a mirror. He understands the optics. His disappearance has displaced the family, exposed weaknesses, and set certain plans in motion. He listens as someone enters, an old adversary he recognizes. Victor. So the little game is to see how the family scatters. Kidnapper, voice muffled. No. The game is to see what they'll give up to keep a secret buried. Victor's eyes flash. He is not a passive victim. He is calculating. He begins to speak to the man, bargaining, probing, weaponizing truth the way he knows how. He offers a deal. His life for an accounting of the secrets the family has built on. The kidnapper leans in, intrigued. Newman Estate, morning. The family wakes to a new development. Someone has leaked a folder to the press, documents linking Victor to a covered-up incident years ago. The leak is a pressure valve. The kidnappers are not only after money, they are after the truth, or the chaos the truth brings. Nick reads the headlines, and then the blackmail letter timestamps. The leak came from within a 24-hour window of the kidnapping. The family's paranoia fractures into suspicion of each other. Nick. Low. We've been turned on ourselves. The rescue and reckoning. Old mill night. The PI tracks the courier's route to an old mill outside town. The team moves in, no one breathes. Inside, a chaotic scene, a setup designed to distract. But in a back room, bound and defiant, Victor sits and greets them with an almost bored irritation when the team bursts in. Victor. Eyes blazing. Finally. I was getting bored with the theatrics. He is rescued. He is shaken, but alive. The family floods the room, relief like a physical wave. He looks at each of them with a measure of pride and fury. Victor, so indeed. You did well. You did predictably. But some things you cannot predict. Who will use our skeletons as leverage? Nick pulls him in close. Their reunion is complicated. A son hugging a man he both loves and despises. Newman's study, later. Victor reads the now public documents. He looks at the group. Family, council, Adam, the Abba contingent. He knows the leak came from someone who wanted to shove them into the light. He knows the pattern of enemies is both wider and more intimate than they feared. Victor. Quiet. This changes things. Not only who we are, but how we run things. Whoever thinks they can beat me with my past. A cold smile. They don't know me. Nikki. Or they do. They knew the wound, and they struck it hard. Adam looks at Victor with something like hard sympathy and harder resolve. Adam. You made a lot of enemies, Victor. You made yourself vulnerable. That's not just on them. A charged silence. This is a family that will have to reckon not only with the kidnappers, but with their own complicity in the systems Victor's power built. Aftermath and new guards. Newman Estate, dawn. The family sits in the kitchen, blown and bruised, watching morning sun slant through the window. The press have been shunted back. The kidnappers remain at large, some arrested, some vanished. The leaked documents have ignited lawsuits, investigations, and a new kind of scrutiny. Victor knows he must change tactics, not his power, but his liability management. He promises to uncover who leaked the files and who orchestrated the kidnap. Nick promises to harden the family front. Nikki asks for transparency. Victor gives a non-committal smile that agrees to effort but not surrender. Sharon. Quiet. We were lucky. Victor. Hard. Luck is temporary. Power needs plans. We will write better ones. Adam. And if those plans still hurt people? Victor meets Adam. Their history like a cord pulled taut. Victor. Then we decide what kind of people we are. That choice has consequences.